The Department of Public Health and Human Services is pleased to bring you Aging Horizons. Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, fraud, legal issues, veterans benefits, and caregiving. Aging Horizons is a program dedicated to inform and prepare Montanans on these timely issues, making a difference to you and your loved ones. Here now is today's program host.
Hi folks, and welcome to Aging Horizons. Today we'll be talking about fires. It is the season. Fires can happen just about anywhere, not just in the forest, but it can happen in towns. A fire can come to town. And we'll be talking about how you can be prepared. We have 3 brochures of living with fire that you should get so you can inspect around your home. But we'll be talking about that and so much more, so stay tuned.
Hey caregivers, did you know that respite time is your time? How will you spend it?
There's so much I want to do, like researching family history.
Sandra Gaskin, Bozeman.
And this time of year, there's never enough time to keep up with my garden. But what I really love to do with my respite time is to work on my latest quilting project.
Montana Lifespan Respite. Respite for caregivers. It's okay to need it. It's okay to want it. It's okay to get it.
It's so fulfilling when all the pieces come together.
45 years, 2 packs a day. That's like $80,000. I thought I was just hurting myself until I fell asleep in a chair with a cigarette. The whole house went up, and I lost it all. I knew smoking was expensive, but I never thought it would cost me everything.
You mean I can get help paying my prescription drug premiums?
Let me get this straight. I could be eligible for help with my family's prescription premiums even though I own my own home?
And our assets won't be counted.
If you're a Montana resident enrolled in the Medicare prescription drug program, you could be eligible for help paying your premiums. Call or visit the Big Sky RX website today to find out, even if you think you're over income.
What do you know about that? I'm eligible.
Montana's veterans answered the call. Now, our veteran service officers are here to answer theirs. Whether it's filing a claim, accessing healthcare, or navigating earned benefits, you're not alone. Our VSOs provide expert guidance at absolutely no cost to you. You served our nation. Let us serve you. Visit your local VSO today. Call 406-324-3742 or visit veterans.mt.gov. Montana serving veterans.
Hi folks, and welcome to Aging Horizons, brought to you by the Department of Public Health and Human Services Senior and Long-Term Care Aging Services Division. I'm your host, Brian Lamore, and we're talking about fire. You know, it happens every year and it's happening more throughout the year. But what's really important is you as an individual need to know how to be prepared. What would you do if you had to do something? We had 16,000 homes burn in California, and that isn't the time when the fire's over the hill to try to figure out what to do. Luckily, we have people here that are prepared. They want you to be prepared, and they have information. We get to interview them. We'll start with Rocky Infanger. You're the Wolf Creek Fire Chief. And then we have Ray Prill. You're the board member for Fire Safe Montana. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Well, Rocky, let's start with you. You've been a fire chief in really a forest area for a long time. And when you go on fires, what's the one thing you think about when you first go there? Are the people prepared?
Yeah, the number one thing for us is public safety, then our safety, then homes, forests, and kind of in that order. Yeah. One of the things we see is that people aren't prepared. If we have to request an evacuation, which is generally done by the sheriff's office, they have the legal authority to do that, people are almost panicky. Yeah. What do you mean I gotta go? What should I take? This is a time, folks, we need to be prepared ahead of time. The last minute becomes a panic situation. You're trying to get out of where you're at, maybe driving too fast or multiple things, smoke environment. But being prepared is number one, and we talk to folks about having go bags.
Yes.
One of the things with go bags is, have it by the door ready to grab and go. What if you go to the store and the store is a half hour away? Do you take that go bag? I would venture to guess a majority do not.
Right.
Just running the store, running in for parts, or whatever it may be. You may not be going back home, especially in the core fire season. And you should probably put that in the car with you. I know it sounds maybe jumping the gun, but if you think about it, in the winter, we always have an extra blanket, extra coat, things like that. We are essentially better prepared in the winter than we are in the summer. But the main thing is when these evacuations happen, because fires happen, they don't care about boundaries, jurisdictions, or anything else, they move rapidly. You may not get back home. The roads may be blocked off, so the firemen can get in and the people that are being evacuated safely get out. And where's my go bag? Sitting by the front door. It's not very helpful. So something to think about, being prepared, having meeting locations. If you and your spouse, one is home, the other is somewhere else, do you have a meeting location you're both aware of? It can be whatever works for you, but having a meeting location pre-identified that you know, my wife and me decided that we're going to go here, and I know that's where I'm going to find her or him. So having this stuff done ahead of time can help save time and help alleviate a potentially panicky situation.
And save lives.
Yes, and that's the number one priority. So preparedness. Folks, we need to get prepared. We never know what kind of fire season we're going to have.
Exactly, and it happens fast. So
Yep.
we've got this information that you can get at the website that's on the screen, and you can learn about this. But it's also on online, so you can get it there. Now, Ray, we're talking about individuals in their homes, but we have facilities, what we call. What are the facilities, and how do they need to be prepared?
Yeah, Brian, thanks for having us. And I tell people, Rocky's a first responder. I'm a first leaver. I don't fight fire.
You're right, yeah.
I leave. And I think that's what we need to think about. One is for our own safety, but also to get out of the way for the people that are responding.
Right.
And one of my concerns is the south side of Helena, or other areas, not just Helena, but parts of towns that cities in the state that have cities that are close to areas that could get fire sparks or firebrands from wildland fires and start the homes on fire and start the businesses on fire. And a classic example is Helena itself, where most of the hospital and retirement facilities and a lot of the child care facilities are on the south side within the ember zone of a wildland fire in Helena. So I think if you live in a assisted living place or a retirement community, you have the responsibility yourself to think about that. And if you can't answer that, then you should ask the people that run the organization that takes care of you. And if you can't, your children should. I think that's my point, is that sometimes we think about that, and it's a real problem for the sheriff and for the city police. And where are there people living that maybe live alone but aren't capable of evacuating themselves? How do we handle that? So that's kind of one of my concerns.
Yeah, and that problem comes up immediately, and it needs a lot of personnel to do it. Now, we've drawn to a quick close on our first segment, and when you're going to be evacuating from a fire, you need to know the basics well ahead of time, and you need to prepare your home, your area around there, and even just figure out what's important. And you can pick up this information off the internet, and you can educate yourself, but start thinking about it. I mean, there's your neighbors, your kids, your spouse. Well, stay tuned. We're going to be right back. We've got a lot more great information for you.
Receiving help for Ella has been life-changing, and the best word for it is relief. I was the therapist, I was the aide, and I couldn't be the mom because I emotionally you're just to your wits' end. You're trying to survive.
I provide care for the Harrises, specifically their daughter Ella. Respite care is extremely challenging, but the rewards that you receive from it are 100 times more than working with a child that doesn't have special needs. Once they get something, it's everything. It's a you celebrate. You don't just enjoy those moments. You celebrate every moment that you get, that you guided them to that next step.
Respite. It's okay to need it. It's okay to want it. Will you provide it? Call 800-224-6034 or visit respite.mt.gov.
It went from survival to enjoying life and being able to be a mom again.
Brought to you by the Montana Broadcasters and this station.
You've probably seen some big-name celebrities on your TV lately talking about all the Medicare benefits you're missing out on. But the insurance companies who are paying for these ads may be pushing benefits not available in Montana. Fortunately, help is available from a friendly state health insurance assistance program counselor who can help you sort it all out. It's free, and we screen everyone for eligibility regardless of your zip code. It's Montanans helping Montanans. Call today.
Elder abuse is a growing problem, and it's happening right here in our Montana communities. At least 1 in 10 older adults are victims of physical or emotional abuse, financial exploitation, or neglect. To get help or report elder abuse, call your local area agency on aging or Adult Protective Services at 1-844-277-9300.
Hi folks, and welcome back to Aging Horizons. I'm your host, Brian Lamore, and we're continuing our discussion about fire. We're in the fire season, but it's all year too. But we'll be seeing a lot of fires maybe this summer, they're predicting. So we want to talk to you about being prepared. There's a lot of great information out there. We'll have a website up about living with fire. What do you need to do to consider if a fire was around your home, if you live in the forest, or if you live in town? There's certain things you need to do and be aware of. Of course, we have our wonderful guests here. We have Pat McKelvey, you're a board member of Fire Safe Montana, and we're back with Rocky, who's the fire chief in Wolf Creek. And Rocky, when we last left, we were talking about evacuations, and there's some important things there. You don't wait until they're told, right?
Yeah, and that's key.
Yeah.
If you're uncomfortable, if you're not prepared, then maybe that's the time. Don't wait for somebody to come. When they have larger areas to evacuate, that takes people. Sometimes that, generally happens pretty quick.
Yeah.
But getting to you, if you've got to go down 5 roads that are a quarter mile each, that's going to take the evacuating officials time. So be prepared and don't wait. If you're uncomfortable, go.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. And having that, again, that plan where you're going to go and what you're going to have with you. Ray spoke about the elderly and stuff like that, and is the facilities ready and all of that. We have a lot of elderly at home that live on their own, and things may take a little more time. So waiting, it may be that you just need to go. You're just, and in order to do that, you need to be aware of your surroundings. What's the weather doing? I mean, are you paying attention to what's going on? And, don't wait. That is the key thing, is be prepared, but don't wait.
Right. And maybe you have a place to go. You have friends, family.
Right.
Say if there's a fire or something here, I'll come to your house. And I'll say, okay. And I know Pat and I have worked with DES and Type 2 teams, and we get a call. I left my artificial leg at home. I left my pet at home, my drugs. Can I go back? And no, there's so much traffic, you can't go up that. So it'll be quite a while.
Preparedness is key. It
Yeah.
just is the key to everything. We spoke about some things earlier, and if you have pets, sometimes if you start panicking, your pets may start panicking. If you have horses, cows, or something you need to get and move, that takes time. And waiting to the last minute isn't that time. So you get to load them up. What's the plan? Do you have a plan for where you're going? So all of this is pre-planning, having a plan. The plan with agencies, local fire departments, and everything else is they've been training all year so far,
Right.
preparing for what may happen, and we need the public to do the same.
Right.
Things should go seamlessly, and that can only happen if you're prepared.
Yeah, informed public. Now, Pat, there's something kind of new here lately, and that's involved with the power company. We have a fire, the power company might be acting in a certain way. What is that, and why do we need to be aware of it?
It's called their Public Safety Power Shutoff Program. And, you know, it came about, I'm sure, from things that have happened in California, Utah, Colorado, all kinds of lawsuits, those kinds of things. And so it does have an impact on your preparation, the things that Rocky and you were just talking about, is to get ready to go. It also has an impact on people who have special needs. They may have an oxygen generator, they have medical needs that, you know, can't be filled if they lose their power. What about the garage door opener? If I've got my car in the garage and we're going to go now, we're going to evacuate, how am I going to open that door? I mean, you can, but you just need to think about it.
You have to know how
those
first.
kinds of
Yeah.
things. And then the other thing is for areas, people, you might, if you're on a rural electric co-op line rather than the Northwestern Energy line, if that feed to your place, your home, on the REA is coming from a substation that is Northwestern Energy's, where they take it off, and they shut that down, you're going to lose your power anyway.
Yeah.
So you need to have a means for generation, is what I'm saying. And whether that be a installed generator, propane fed, there's a lot of those going in right now. Some people are just having portable generation. That's all they want, apparently.
Yeah.
So those are things that we haven't talked about that they need to discuss. Because if you can't run your pump, like I said, you can't run your sprinklers, you're not going to do your home defense plan that we've been preaching that you do all this time. So that's new. That's a new thing.
And you have to know how to operate it. That's another thing. Exercise it.
But believe me, the electricians have that figured out as well. They come on, they sense that the power's gone on the line, they come on. And that's another good point, is that has to be wired in by an electrician, so you're not feeding power back into the Northwestern Energy line. Yeah, you don't want to do that. That would not be good.
Yeah, and I know on fires, if a power pole goes down, we don't want a hot wire on the ground for a firefighter to step on it. So that's one of the first things they might do to an area, is shut that down. But now you can get that information from Northwest Energy.
Oh, absolutely, and they have a good program to address that with the public. We have worked with a gentleman named Max Rebo from Northwestern Energy. I'm sure any of the local offices would be happy to visit with a landowner.
Yeah, whenever I've worked with them, they're more than happy to work with you and make sure you're informed. Now, we've come to a close on our second segment already, but folks, we have another one. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
When I found out it was diabetes, my first thought was, Barb, you need help. You have to take control of this. There is help. My doctor gave me a phone number. I called and signed up with a diabetes educator. There is help. I have to put blinders on when I walk past the bakery counter. I can feel my blood sugar go up. You succeed a little at a time. If you have diabetes, help is available. You do not have to do it alone.
Ask your doctor about diabetes education or visit montana211.org.
Hey, caregivers, did you know that respite time is your time? How will you spend it?
20-year-old twins with special needs takes a lot of wrangling. So sometimes a trip to the grocery store without having to worry about the boys can feel like a mini vacation.
Tori Allard, Billings.
We also own a DJ company, and there's always something going on there that needs attention.
Montana Lifespan Respite. Respite for caregivers. It's okay to need it. It's okay to want it. It's okay to get it.
The small things in life can make a huge difference. Thank you, Respite Care.
Every 65 seconds, someone is affected with Alzheimer's or other dementias. Many become isolated at a time when help is most needed.
If you or someone you love is affected, help is available, both for people with memory loss and their caregivers. Memory loss can feel frightening, but you are not alone. Call the free 24/7 Alzheimer's Association helpline, 800-272-3900, for guidance and support. I think the most pleasant surprise when we turned 65 and signed up for Medicare Part B was finding out about our Welcome to Medicare preventive visit.
It was free, and it gave us the opportunity to visit with our doctors and establish a plan for our health going forward.
They reviewed our medical history, measured our height, weight, blood pressure, and counseled us on other risk factors.
To learn more about Medicare's free or low-cost preventive and wellness benefits, call your local SHIP counselor at 800-551-3191. I mentioned it's free, right?
Twice.
Welcome back, folks. I'm your host, Brian Lamore, and we're continuing our discussion about fires. Fires right here in Montana. There's some details you need to be aware of, whether you're a city person or a country person. Fires can happen anywhere, big fires, not just a little house fire. Now, Rocky, let's talk about home assessments. You know, you are available, or there are individuals available to do an assessment on your home to see how fire prone they might be. Tell us more.
Yes, there's multiple ways that you could get that done. Overall, statewide, DNRC can do a home assessment for you. Various counties and some local jurisdictions, fire departments within there are doing them. In our Tri-County area here, we work with Tri-County Fire Safe Working Group. They will do free assessments for you, help you with grant funding if it's available. But it's up to you to reach out and ask for one of those. And it can provide you with a lot of information and a lot of things that you can do yourself. Now, maybe if you need your forest thinned or stuff limb, that may be outside of what you can do. But any of those organizations or agencies can help assist in some way, turn you in the right direction or something like that. But the key is to request one. Get them done ahead of time. In reality, we're running out of time right now to get those for this fire season. But, you know, without one, most people don't know where to turn. This helps you develop somewhat of a plan. You know, number one is if you can focus on your house with ignition-resistant construction. The next is that first 5 feet around your home and other structures. From there out to 30 feet. From there out to 60, 100. And getting that stuff, basically push them fuels back. Don't have the firewood next to your house when your predominant wind is coming out of the southwest, and that's where you're before it ever gets to your house, because now you got more embers. And people don't really realize that embers are what generally cause the problems. It's not direct flame impingement. It's way out ahead of the fire. And it's the little things. You know, what do you have on your deck? Do you have wicker furniture with cushions on it? Wicker's wood. Wicker can burn. So there's a lot of different things you can do to improve your chances during a wildfire, and the sooner you get those done or have a plan. And I'm not telling people to remove their furniture off their deck, but if you have cushions and stuff, maybe before that fire comes, before you leave, you could just simply throw the cushions in the house. You know, so there's a lot of things that you can do, but most people don't realize what their risks are. We look at a lot of different things, from gutters to roofing to siding, windows. We look at, do you have beauty bark right around your house that can easily catch? You know.
Well, now, Rocky, how does one of our viewers initiate one of these home inspections? Who would they contact?
Depending on where you are, I would always check with your local fire department or DES. They should be able to direct you depending where you are in the state. Different places in the state have different programs. State DNRC is kind of an overarching one that covers the entire state. And there's different ones for east side, west side.
Or you can always hit the website and find our brochures that we have there to start you on your way.
Exactly.
Now, Pat, let's talk about mitigation. Rocky mentioned a few things to look around your house, but there's some things that people are surprised.
Well, a part of that assessment, would be the ingress and egress route. How do you get into this place? And we're not finding. It's a fact that more people are moving into Montana and may not be familiar with a lot of what we're talking about, and they move into a forested area. Now, I deal with it as a forest management practice as well as a mitigation practice, but in doing some of these assessments and trying to get the spacing that we're talking about, a 20-foot crown-to-crown spacing, depending on the species of the tree. Yeah. But people stand there and they, no, don't, as I was flagging them. Yeah. So I tried to figure out the best way to explain that. And I thought of a set of bowling pins. That if you look down that lane, you're seeing what looks like a set of, you're seeing a set of pins. Yeah. But if you look down from the top, they're evenly spaced, both this way, that way, and then this way as they go on down. And thinking about that makes it a little easier to comprehend on what we recommend with your forest. So that should be a part of the assessment if you live in that kind of an environment. Yeah. And then the other thing that comes about from that is the insurance industry now in Montana, well, all over. They may say, with the way your forest is laid out, your land, or what you have or have not done, that it's not insurable.
Yeah.
So please check with your insurance agent, find out what you're insured for.
Right.
And then it works both ways. If you haven't done anything, why?
I know after one of these shows, I checked with my insurance agent because of you, and there's a reason to do this. Things changed, It's not that long ago.
They
but
do.
One of the first shows I did with you about 30 years ago, the trees were about that far apart, and the landowner went in, had it, thinned out, and it was beautiful, much better. So it can be much more positive in doing this, and you might like it.
Yeah, and it's a management practice.
And a term I'll never forget after doing a mitigation project on somebody's property is they looked around and said, I feel like my trees can breathe again.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, we've drawn to a close. Thank you both for being on the show. It went so quick. And for our viewers, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next Sunday.
Special thanks to the Department of Public Health and Human Services for their continued support. Hosts on Aging Horizons are program specialists at the Montana Office on Aging. Production facilities provided by Video Express Productions. For more information about Aging Horizons, call the Department of Public Health and Human Services toll-free at 800-332-2272.